Hello, everybody. It's Richard Heart, super duper Bitcoin genius, thought leader, blockchain expert, cryptocurrency expert. I'm just eating up time so that Pedro can to do his intro. Go for it.
Oh. Yeah, sorry about that, Richard. I kind of lost the sound for a second here. Can we go?
Yeah,
Can we repeat
go
that?
ahead, man.
Oh
It's you can just start.
Yep. Okay. Hey guys. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't have the phone. I thought I had the phone there. Okay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm having a bit of trouble with my audio, so sorry about that. I'm using my phone to speak to Richard through Telegram. So yeah, a bit weird, but I think we'll manage today. So if the sound is not that great, I apologize in advance. But I'll make sure that the questions will be good enough to entertain you guys for a little bit. And thank you, Richard, for taking the time to speak to me. Can you hear me well? By the way?
I hear you perfectly, man.
Cool, perfect.
So just do your intro. Like, who are you and what are we talking about today?
Yeah, sure. So, well, my name is Pedro. I write for CoinRevet. It's a UK-based crypto, news media. I used to work I used to write for CCN. I also have my own project. It's called Beyond. I've been building it for the past 4 years. It's a recruitment and talent management platform. And I'm also doing other stuff, of course. I'm doing a research project with the University of Huddersfield. That's also blockchain based. So we're trying, to integrate this technology within the built environment, apply to the financial part of the built environment. So construction mostly. But it's still, on its early stages. We're also writing one paper about it. And but yeah, again, early stages. And this is me basically. So yeah.
All right. Do you got your question list? I pasted it to.
Yeah, I do. I have it here.
Hit it.
By the way, I've turned down the video, by the way, because it was interfering with my sound.
Okay.
I don't know why, but yeah. So yeah. Okay. So the question. So before, this is your channel. So I don't want to to do that usual intro because people know who you are. But I wanted to ask you, man, about previous projects that you did, both successful and then unsuccessful. Because usually we during the interviews and conversations, people usually focus on the good stuff. But I think it's really important for at least for the the viewers to understand how many times you you failed before you got it right, or maybe you were one of the few exceptions who got it right the first time. But I usually doubt that. So I wanted to talk about your previous experience, basically.
Right. Let me send out a new link to everyone because for some reason the stream started on a link that we're not actually talking on.
Oh,
so
okay.
I need to tweet everyone the correct link because we're supposed to have maybe 700 or 800 viewers now, and we have 100 because.
Sorry?
We're supposed to have about 700 or 800 viewers right now, but we only have about 100 because people don't have the right link.
Okay.
So I've got to give them the right link, which is what I'm working on now.
Yes.
One moment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No problem.
It seems like the computers are being challenging today.
Yes, today, yeah, definitely.
All right. Hey, HEX chat.
Ooh,
Paste me a link to my own live stream so that I can tweet it.
Okay. Yep. Just unplugging my charger. Oh.
Okay, I found it. Now I've got to send everyone from the other stream to it.
Okay.
All right. So now I've got to go.
It looks so easy when other people are doing it. Yeah.
I've got to go to events, and I've got to go to the event that's there.
Okay.
That.
Just unplugging my
there we
charger.
go.
Oh.
Yeah, this is weird, dudes. Sorry for the technical errors here.
No. Yeah. It happens, right?
Yeah. So I've got to go to my tweet, which gives the wrong link. Click on the wrong link and tell everyone in that non-functional stream to come to the real stream.
Okay.
Sweet. I'm doing
Yeah.
it.
Like, yep. My audio sometimes breaks from like a few seconds, so I hope it doesn't break much during our conversation.
You should be all right. All right, everybody. I told you guys to go to the real stream. So
Yeah. Yeah, you see,
hopefully
like
that
now
works.
it broke for a second. Oh, god damn it.
What broke? The audio?
Yeah. Just trying to see if it's okay.
I wonder how I
hope
kill the
it's
old
not
bad
bad.
stream. How do I kill the old bad stream? There's 90
Sorry?
people waiting in the old bad stream, but I don't know how to kill it. Dear YouTube, I've got a dead non-functional stream that I can't get rid of. Creator Studio, live streaming, events. I only see, okay, I see an upcoming.
Sorry?
I'm
Yeah, I missed the question.
figuring out how to delete
like,
the dead stream. Actions.
god damn it, my audio. Oh, god damn it.
Delete. Hope this doesn't delete this stream, bro. Okay. I think we're still live. Great.
Okay.
All right, so now maybe everyone can get on the right stream. I see people joining up now. Cool.
Nice.
I don't know why it gave me a new URL. It's very stupid.
Yeah. Maybe should we post that link in the old stream? I don't know if you did it. Sorry, I'm not watching the stream. So
Yeah, I'm gonna post it everywhere. And Twitter. All right, so start from scratch, bro. Don't give your intro again. We know you. They got links at the bottom. So you wanted to ask me about failed projects. A lot of the businesses didn't. A lot of the businesses I did lost money. I lost money on cash advance loans. I lost money on sex toys. I lost money on the Miracle Cleaner. Made a lot on mortgages. Just because you start something and you want to do business doesn't mean you're going to make money at it. So I've had some really big winners and I've had some things that just didn't go anywhere. So if you throw enough shit at the wall, some of it's bound to stick, so to speak. I guess for all the people that just got here, let me drink out of my new HEX mug. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh, so high resolution, no pixels. So I've got these test products all in order to verify their awesomeness before I open up the web store. And this is the first thing that came. So far so good.
Yeah. So the next one. Thank you for that, Richard. I have to be honest. I'm having a little bit trouble with the connection, so I can hear half what you say and the other half I can try. I'm trying to read your lips. So yeah, but I kind of got what you said. Sorry about that.
I'll try and talk with big lips for you.
With technology.
Yeah, your connection sucks, bro. That's all right.
Yeah, I know it sucks. Yeah, I know that, but I don't know why.
You ask me smart questions, I'll give good sounding, high resolution answers. So what's your next question?
So, all right, the next one. Let me just open it again. Sorry about that. All right. We did speak about the failed projects a bit, so thank you for that. I mean, do you have like any important lessons that you want to share? I mean, besides what you just said, like more about money or other stuff like important reads or documentaries, stuff that changed you a bit,
Well, I wrote a whole book on that, and it's free, and you can download it. I wrote a whole book on that, which is free, and you can download it for free from t.me/scivive, like survive through science, SCIVIVE. There's a lot of good tips. Don't Don't believe people's stories that they tell you about working. You actually have to see the work so that you can fire them earlier, because you can let people lead you on for a really long time and then end up firing them anyway. And then you could have just fired them earlier and saved the money and had your project done earlier if you didn't listen to their stories, right? If you had a higher standard for deliverability. So, like, for instance, developers, if they're not committing code every day, they didn't write any code that day, they didn't do anything good that day. Maybe the problem you're working on so hard that they have to think about it for a while, but that comes to an end, and then code needs to be written, right? So I'm kind of guilty of that in HEX. I've gone through some developers, and my project would be done by now if I had just gone through them earlier and just fired them earlier. So
But I have a similar, not a similar experience. I mean, I like Bitcoin. It's like 4 years old, right? And it should be done. Like, it should be much better by now, but it isn't. But I think it's like my fault because I didn't manage that project very well in the beginning. I wanted to have everything, and I realized like you can't do that, right? You need to build something like good, but very something small, and then try to grow with the customers, community, whatever. So
minimum viable product with scaling after product market fit, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
do the things that don't scale first. You only need, I think, 15 total users to find every bug in your UI. You actually don't find more bugs with more than 15. I mean, I know a million tricks, but you can read these in the book for free.
Cool.
What's your next question?
For sure, man. Yeah. Next question. There we go. So, I mean, before we really get into Bitcoin tech and Bitcoin technology, I mean, I wanted to talk a little bit about intrinsic motivators, for people to buy Bitcoin. And I think, at least personally, that greed is probably the most important one. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Look, there's only two reasons people buy Bitcoin, realistically. They want to get rich, so they care about the price going up, or they want to buy stuff on the darknet. And that's it.
Yeah, makes sense.
There ain't no other reason to buy it. Because when you buy it, you pay a large fee, much larger than US dollars, to get in. And then whoever you give it to pays a large fee, much larger than US dollars, to get out. And so you have a higher transaction cost with a longer waiting period and less, with credit card, you have escrow built in. If you don't like what happened, you can just get your money back. With Bitcoin, if you don't like what happened, you can stay fucked because you ain't getting your money back, right? Well, how much is that escrow worth to you? Back when Bitcoin escrow companies used to actually exist, and they did, they think they would charge 3% on a transaction. So now you're like, 1% to get in, and that's if you get like an okay exchange. Like if you use an ATM, you're paying 10% to get in and 10% to get out. So unless you need censorship resistance, Bitcoin is only good for one thing currently, and that is getting rich. And that's enough. So be happy with it. It doesn't need to cure cancer. It doesn't need to, apparently it doesn't even need to be anonymous, because it's not.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, pseudo anonymous, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting rich is good enough. Let's be happy with it. Imagine if we get anything else good on top of the getting rich, we'll get even more rich. Awesome. So I told everyone, I called that we were going to go down to 8,500 because there was a ton of confluence at that price point. I think my price prediction may have been front ran, and we only got down to 9,000 twice. And I don't think we're going to fill that 8,500 target anymore. So I've been telling everyone that 10,000 is a great entry, and it's a wonderful discount. It's still a 29% discount from 14K. So, long and strong is a nice way to be. If you want to trade it, you can do so on richardheart.win. It is a new richardheart.win that links to an exchange better than MEX. It's more fair. The liquidation engine is more fair. You save more of your capital. You have a more fair index price that gets set, so you don't get stopped out on these retarded wicks. They have more inputs to their index price, and then they cut off the highest and the lowest one. So you get the fair middle price. So you're not liquidated on a scam wick, right? It's just better. They're not being investigated by the CFTC as far as I know. So those are all very good upsides. And MEX is going through and just banning people's accounts and making you AML KYC to get your account turned back on. When they ban you, you can't trade. You can only close positions. You can't, your limit orders aren't going to fill because your risk limit gets set to 0. So now, or your available balance gets set to 0. So whatever the metric is, when they shut you down and AML KYC you for passport and utility bill, you want to get your money out. And then right now they do let you get your money out. However, that doesn't mean they have to keep doing that, right? And the notice says that if you don't take your money out with 7 days, they take it. And then it goes into like some fund thing. Well, I never heard a story about anyone getting money out of that fund, and I don't know how it works. So I'd feel really pissed if I got a red notice, didn't notice it, and then 7 days later didn't have any of my money on MEX anymore, right? That would upset me.
Yep.
So I'm telling everyone to get off MEX and to get onto richardheart.win, the new one, and not have the red you're banned problem. And these are people that have never accessed from a USIP ever. They're not USA people. They're not USA residents. They still get this AML KYC problem, which sucks a lot because, I mean, I promoted the crap out of that product, and now I'm having to unpromote it, and I'm not very happy about doing that. So go to the new richardheart.win.
You couldn't foresee stuff. Yeah, you couldn't foresee that, I guess. So, yeah.
Look, you know, it's a better product. We're lucky a better product exists. You still get a 10% discount, 15% discount. I can't remember. Check it. Click the link, and you get better entries, better exits, more fair liquidation engine, more fair price structure, actual options that aren't scams. Like up-down contract on MEX is actually a scam. It's a terrible deal. The real options that are available on richardheart.win are just actual options with a fair market, not a central market maker that trades against you, which MEX has. They actually have an in-house market maker that trades against you and provides the up-down product. And it's not great, you know, because you wonder, like, does this guy not get the order error? You know, when you go to submit your order and your order never goes through and then it all goes through at once and you got 10 times the position you wanted. Maybe that guy doesn't have that problem in his API, right? All right. So buy the dip 10K. I think the price is 10.5. Buy that. What's your maximum downside, right? Leave your liquidation price under 6K. If this is a bull market, which I truly believe it is, we ain't never done a 50% drop in a bull market ever. So we've done it at the end of a bull market after 100x. We went from 200 to 20,000. Then we went past 50% drop. You know, we did our bear. Now it's time to do bull.
Yeah, and we're still far away from that, I guess. Like, no, not super far away, but like, you know, we still got a couple of months before we break like the 20K. I think, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Yeah.
But you know what? It sucked to miss 3K to 9K, didn't it? It would suck to miss 10K to 20K. Like, you know.
Yeah, I think people just need to get in, you know, like as soon as possible. At least that's been my strategy, like, you know, like dollar cost averaging, that's it, you know. I think it's the simplest way.
You know who did great? Everyone that bought Bitcoin waiting for the HEX airdrop that has been extremely late because we've added features and run into a bug or two. Those guys all bought 3K. So that's awesome. So everyone that believed in the schedule and everyone believed in HEX bought 3K. Actual spot, like, so I'm very happy for all those guys.
Yeah, I was one of those guys, so yeah, I'm super happy. Yeah, I'm super happy too. So, and we'll speak about HEX, like, you know, in a little bit. But before we do
we can put it to the end. Sorry for mentioning it early.
Yes,
my followers have heard a lot
it's
about
absolutely fine, man. No, it's fine. You can talk, like, you can like, you know, drop it in the middle. It's absolutely fine. I like the project anyways. So yeah, like do whatever you want, man. It's fine. The stock to flow ratio, man. Do you think it's important? Do you think it's a metric people should care or follow? Or do you think, like, you know, eventually it will, like, you know, be irrelevant?
So you've got these metrics which you can curve fit to match what the price did. Maybe they're trailing indicators and they don't influence the price, right? So it's like Google Trends. We went from 3K to 14K with no search results, with no increase in Google search, which means that you can't use Google search to predict price because it's reflexive and laggy and it's a trailing indicator. It only lets you know what already happened. You can't make money on an indicator that tells you what already happened. You need to know before it happens. So laggy indicators suck. Trailing indicators suck. Repeating indicators kind of suck. So now that we know that we can 4.5x the price in 5 months on no searches, no adoption, no good news really, is the Facebook launching their own Bitcoin replacement bullish? I think it is, but I'm not sure most other people know that, right? I know that getting people into the ecosystem will blow all the numbers sky high because, oh, you got into this crypto, you like it, that you don't make mad gains on? Hey, we got this other crypto you can make mad gains on. and they're really easy to exchange between each other. Would you like some? Right? It's a great onboarding tool. I don't think most other people are advanced marketers like I am to understand the sympathetic product. So I wouldn't think it would be bullish news for most people, right? Which is why we don't see Google searches, which is why we don't see people posting rocket GIFs. I'm the first guy on Twitter posting rocket GIFs for some reason. I got the Bitcoin guy riding the rocket to 15K, right? And it's fun. I have an admin in my chat on my channels. I've got many crypto channels that I run. So
I'm in a couple of them. Yeah.
I was going to name drop them so people can visit and see what I'm talking about.
Do it.
So t.me/strape is general crypto chat. I got an admin in there named Dan. He's a bear, and he wants his orders filled as low as he can.
Okay.
He'd be happy to see a wick down to 500. He's got bids all the way down, and he just believes that, this isn't the bull run. It's like a fake out rally or something. And this is when you see the bubble chart, this is disbelief, and it just keeps going up, and people are like, what's happening? They're just in disbelief. They can't believe it, right? I can believe it. I saw this last year. I saw this 400 days ago. Well, 5 months plus 365 days. I saw this 1.5 years ago. Same trajectory, same velocity, same price behavior, but with some more dips. The price behavior has been more bullish this time. So I don't understand how people can see more bullish price action in 2019, but somehow feel bearish. Guys, the goddamn price went up nearly 5x with no dip over 25%. It's the most bullish shit I've ever seen. Why do you think that we're going to go make new lows? We did this on no news, no Google searches, for no good reason, and we did it anyway. That's more bullish, right? Remember when we pumped for CME and then CME came and then we dumped? We didn't pump for anything this time, so it can't come and dump us, right? Pumping for no reason is better than pumping for a reason. So I don't understand this bearish narrative people have. It's just disbelief. They saw the price go down for so long that they can't believe that it turns around, and
it's true. And one of the at least to myself, one of the most important things is that last year when we had that nearly 40% crash on the stock market, on the S&P 500. I mean, Bitcoin was on a really bear market, so no investor in their goddamn mind would put money into Bitcoin. Not at that moment. That would be insane, I think. So this time, if something like that happens, the dip 20-30%, maybe that the history will be a little bit different, I guess, because Bitcoin is in the proper bull trend.
I like these
the dips. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a rare exception and actually address some things that the retarded chat says. YouTube chat, nice. Just so that you know, I usually don't bother to read your garbage because you guys are retarded, all of you guys, 90% of you guys. Okay, so let's take this genius comment. Last week, Richard Heart said 8,500. Now he says 15K. Do you know why I do that? Because reality changes, and I update my model of the world with new data, and then I give you a new accurate prediction. Okay?
Yeah.
When you're in a bull market, you don't get forever to buy the dip. There's a timer. Eventually, people FOMO back in again. That's what a parabola does. If your dumbass doesn't understand that you don't get the opportunity to buy a dip forever in a bull run, that's your dumbass problem. Okay?
Yep.
I understand as a trader that if your trade thesis doesn't work out for so long, you have to readdress it. Okay? We tried to get down to 8,500 twice. We did it with, good effort, and we couldn't get down there. If we end up getting down there, it would be extremely rare, and it would violate the entire price behavior that we had from 200 to 20,000, where it never took 2 months to get your 40% dip. It never did, ever, right? So I don't know why you think this would be the first time when it's more bullish, not less, right? It's more bullish. We've gone up faster, harder. That is better, not worse. That should make you less. We did a 36% dip. We only have done about 42 max ever in a bull run. Fuck, you got front run by 6%. That's fine. I called 8,500. We got down to 9K. That's fine. Enjoy it. Enjoy your awesome entry that was only 5 or 6% over what I predicted. If you were long when I told you to get long at 10K, your ass would be up 5 or 6% right now. And if you were on 2x margin, your ass would be up 12% on your stack. But instead, you're sitting here, what?
I think people are...
Right? Instead of being long and being in profit, like I told you to do, you're here shit talking like, oh, his prediction changed. Well, bitch, what do you think happens with the price changes? Your prediction should change, shouldn't it? Right? Like, and I tell these people the inputs to the call so that they can, if they don't like the inputs, they can make a different decision.
Yep.
I don't just give you a target and tell you the target. By the way, if you get wrecked, it's your fault. I'm not a registered financial advisor. So if you make a lot of money, good on you. If you lose a lot of money, that's on you, man. You know, I tell people, look,
like people, when I've met so many people, when they make like shitloads of money, like investing in Ethereum or some other, I don't know, like ICO, crowds or whatever it is, they think they're geniuses, right? But when they lose money, it's like they blame somebody else. I mean, seriously, it's like it's always your fault, like the good and the bad, and that's it, you know. And you're not a genius, like because you just made like shitloads of money investing in some project. I mean, it can be.
I was a genius when I was in elementary school. Like it doesn't like I've been smart as fuck forever. Being able to accurately predict the price is a specialized skill that is pretty unrelated to how smart you are. You could be really dumb and figure out some things that make the market work, and you'll make good predictions, right? So another thing chat said. So one was, he said 8,500. Now he's saying 15K. Yeah, that's how the market works, bro. The dips only last so long. Sorry, it didn't go a little bit lower. I would have liked it to. Richard Heart .win not working. Bullshit. Richard Heart .win. One Mississippi. Yeah, it works fine. You're full of shit.
All right.
Go ahead. Next.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm just going to change gears a little bit, if it's okay. And I mean, just talk a little bit about like the technology side of Bitcoin. I think like people are obviously now focusing price due to like, you know, being on a bull trend, and that makes sense. But I think it's also important to, you know, to not forsake the technology and the network effect and all that stuff. So for you, what's the most important, like, you know, aspect of the decentralized money? Is it like sort of volume payments, or do you think it changes with time? Yeah. I know.
No, like everything else sucks. Yeah. Everything else is worse.
Okay.
Bitcoin and blockchain is only useful for one thing. Listen to Richard Heart, okay? I've been doing this since 2011. Mined full blocks on my own with no pull, 50 BTC block rewards, okay? I've been at this for a long time, and I know quite a bit about software, right? And I've got my own blockchain product where we built something that I believe is better than Bitcoin. And so you have to really understand Bitcoin to try and do better than it, right? I can tell you that if you need censorship resistance, blockchain is the best. Because you know what? If every mining pool banned you, you could go invent your own mining hardware and still join the network, whether they wanted you to or not. If every bank in the world wouldn't let you transact, you could still go build your own ASIC miner and wait for it to tape out in, you know, a year and a half or 2 years. And then in 2 years, without anyone else's permission, you'd still be able to join the network. So banks can't keep you out. ASIC manufacturers can't keep you out as long as you're well funded enough to make your own ASIC. Probably costs you about 5 or 6 million, depending on your process node size. And it gets more expensive every time the nodes get smaller. I think they're 7 nanometers now, but you know, somewhere in the single digits. If you're using TSMC, I think you can get a 7 nanometer node. If you need censorship resistance, you want to accept payments like WikiLeaks from people, the credit cards banned you still want to accept payments, Bitcoin can do that for you. Now, here's the problem. Most people do not need censorship resistance. Most people's transactions are not trying to be censored, okay?
Yep.
Are you trying to keep track of like inventory on a blockchain? You're retarded. No one's trying to censor that. We already have audited, Merkle-rooted, password authorized, logged databases forever that are distributed and can require more than one signer, and like all that stuff's already done for 50 years. All of that is already done for 50 years. No one's trying to censor your stupid inventory data, right? So who really needs the blockchain? People that want to get rich and people that want to buy stuff on the darknet. And if you buy on the darknet, God, I hope you're mixing your coins up good, because everything's not anonymous. If they ever tie your identity to that payment, they can track it all the way back, right? And if you use a mixing pool, if everyone else in that pool that you're in is actually just one guy that knows he's all the other things, it's very obvious which one you were. Then you can just tell people that. right? So
Yep.
blockchain is good for censorship resistance and nothing else. It is unreliable. It is extremely slow. It is extremely expensive. You have to always look back and see whether you've been forked and you've had invisible data loss. That was an orphan. Oh, so that data is not there anymore. It was there last block, but now it's not there anymore. The blocks were full. I didn't bid enough. There's no one's transacting in it because they're waiting for signaling on the soft fork or hard fork. I hear about Bitcoin's 99.9% uptime, and I'm like, yeah, and except whenever there's forks, and no one will accept transactions because no one wants to get double spent. And so some of the things Bitcoin people say are bullshit and false, but they just want to shill and pump the price, and everyone loves bearish news. So like my headline, right, 110K Bitcoin. Yeah, we're gonna hit 110K. I don't know when. Yeah. And the next video is 120K, and I'm just gonna keep adding 10K to every video for giggles because the price will eventually get there, and it's good clickbait. I think 60 to 100K is a good target for the next 2 or 3 years. Maybe you got to wait 5 or 6 to get. Say again.
600K, Seth?
No, right. I'm just every new video I make, I'm just gonna clickbait it 10K more on the prediction.
Yeah, you just I think 10K more. Yeah.
Because I'm so tired of typing this. Like we're talking about crypto, and it's really hard to type, headlines, right? So like, what are we talking about? 20 things. Okay, well, how many of those things can I fit in the headline, and how many of them get search volume on YouTube? And so I end up sticking like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and HEX in every title, and then I'm stuck with like not much space left. So how much clickbait can I fit in that space? So I'm just going to keep chucking a $10,000 higher price in each video, because the price will go there, right? And I'm very happy with my price predictions. I called the 20K Christmas, we hit 20K and died. I called 8,500, we got to 9,000. Novogratz called 10K, dipped 10% under his call. Tom Lee called 10K, dipped 10% under his call, twice, right? Went down to went to 14K, and then went down to 9,100, and then went up to depends on exchange, 90.50 some places, 9,100 other places, and then went down, went up to like 13.2, and then died again, and now we're up at 10.5, maybe 10.6. I don't have a price chart sitting in front of me. So my calls are better than the people that are on television. I guess I am on television too. I'm not on CNBC America. I'm on CNBC Africa. CNBC America is better. So one day, right?
So, I mean, when you say, I'm just coming back to something you said, when you say censorship resistance is like, the most important, like,
the only thing it is useful for. Everything else is worse. Everything else
the only
is
thing
worse.
That's useful, exactly. For people who not looking to get rich. But you associate the story of value use case to censorship resistance, I'm assuming, right? So, I mean, imagine that I want to, not that I need it, but imagine I hold my savings in Bitcoin because I'm not going to hold them in Euro or GBP or whatever, because that's just insane, I think. So I'm not going to do that, right? So I'm not fighting any system. I'm just thinking for myself, thinking, how can I hold my value for the next 20 years without thinking too much about it? For me, that's a solution, right? So,
I think you're setting your target very low. I don't know why you care about holding value as a target when you can make mad gains a target.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The people that bought 3K went up 500% in 5 months. That ain't a store value, bitch. That's mad gains. Like that's amazing price performance.
I agree, but not everybody's a trader, right? I'm talking about people who don't trade, right? Yeah.
So man, 500% in 5 months is great without leverage. Like, come on, that's fucking what? I've been in Bitcoin a long time. It used to not do that. You didn't get fucking 5x in 5 months. That wasn't the thing. That was not a thing until 2017. Well, maybe very early you could have done it, like early 2011, stuff like that.
Okay.
I bought at 30, and then it went to 1 penny on some exchanges. So I wish I bought later or earlier, because then I'd have, 50x the money.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean, and I agree, right? I mean, obviously, I personally allocate some funds, obviously, to other coins. But my point is, if I'm just working and I'm trying to store some of the money, I agree with you. I think it's always the best strategy is always trying to multiply your money, right? Otherwise, it's not your money, just money that you're renting from somebody else, right? That's the point, and I agree with you. Okay. So next question. Otherwise, I'm wasting too much time here. Although I like the conversation. Yeah.
Well, we got about an hour and 9 minutes till we really have to end.
Okay, cool. So we still have plenty of time. Yes.
I got another live stream coming up.
Yep, yep. And the next one is going to be about trading, right?
Yeah.
And prices.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Since we're talking about decentralized money,
kind of. No one uses this shit
yeah.
as money, so I'm weary,
Okay.
extremely weary of calling it money. Right?
Okay.
It is not a unit of account. Everyone is billing in dollars and then settling in Bitcoin, but the unit of account is dollars.
Okay.
So
no, I agree, but that's just like the moment like we're living right now, and I agree with you. Right now, it's not, but like I see it like in 20 years, I don't think so. I think if Bitcoin is adopted,
bro, hold on a second.
Yeah,
so we can do three. We can do let's call it 7 transactions a second, which is like let's do the math real quick. So let's do the math.
Yeah,
so we've got 60 seconds in a minute, which is 420, and we've got 60 minutes in an hour, and we've got 24 hours in a day. That's 604,000 transactions a day. And how many people are there? 7 billion. And how many transactions do they want to do per day? More than a tenth of one. So you cannot possibly, using Bitcoin, serve even a tiny percent of the world. You need tier 2 to function properly to do that, right? Tier 2 currently has $10 million of liquidity in it.
Yeah.
And as far as Bitcoin improvements go, you haven't got any improvements in 2 years. SegWit might be the last interesting improvement you get. I'm bullish. The price is going to go up. We're going to make new all-time highs. That's great. And the progress sucks. The adoption sucks. The Google searches suck. The wallet downloads suck. The wallet installs suck. The technical progress sucks. Almost everything sucks. The only thing that's really good is the regulatory certainty is a little more clear. The institutional custody is a little more clear. We can onboard a lot of larger users through OTC and things like that. Maybe we have backed with physically featured, physically settled stuff. But look, Ledger X launched and it's physically settled and they don't do any volume. So I don't care unless I see volume, right? Oh, you're launching a new way for people to onboard. So what? They actually have to click buy. I don't give a shit that you gave them a way to click buy. I care that they click the green button. If they're not clicking green buttons, I don't care that you exist. You're actually a cost. Like you're consuming a lot of energy to exist, and you need to cancel that out with user adoption, right? So it's like, and stable coins, they're competitors for Bitcoin. They're the opposite of what Bitcoin is built for. Bitcoin was designed to get rid of counterparties. Stablecoins add counterparties. Hey, here's a bank account. Let's put more middlemen between the end user and the bank account. And then we have more points of failure. And then we have fractional reserve. And that's the opposite of what crypto is built for. But if you tell people that, they unfollow you. Well, this might be bearish for the price. No, it's bullish for the price. You remember Mt. Gox failed? And the price kept going higher because the only way to get off the exchange was to hit the buy button and try and get Bitcoin off because you couldn't get dollars off. That's what happens when anything in crypto fails. Short to midterm, insane price pump. Long-term price bump too, if that thing wasn't required for onboarding new users. If it was required for onboarding new users like Gox was, when they died, it hurt adoption for a while until new on-ramps existed.
It was like 2 years after that, I guess.
It's really hard for me to explain my position to people because one, they're mostly retarded, and two, real accurate predictions are nuanced. And so if there's a great saying, there's always a simple explanation for everything that is both simple and wrong.
Yep.
So if you want the right explanation, a lot of times it is not simple, right? So like understanding that exchange failures are good for Bitcoin price short and midterm and long term if they weren't required to onboard new users. I'm the only person I've ever heard say that. I've never heard anyone else explain that before. So it's not just bullish. It's bullish if, was this really an on-ramp that people needed? Are there other ones they could switch to, right?
Okay.
So you need the if-thens, you need the conditionals.
I agree. I think the conditionals are like, what makes price either go up or down. Because as you said, if there's no place for people to onboard, nobody can buy Bitcoin, there's no way for price to go up.
Yep.
100% correct.
Yep.
At the same time, I think technology-wise, Bitcoin is so different. Like it's a completely different beast than it was 3, 4 years, 5 years ago. And I do see not improvements now, but improvements that are coming, right? Graphroot, Taproot, I don't know, Schnorr signatures.
Why do you think any of that shit's going to get rolled in? We barely, we had to cheat. We had to cheat and lie and threaten to destroy the network with non-miners Sybil attacking the network, and promising to not support transactions over 1 megabyte, right? They put a gun to the head of the network, and they're like, listen, if you miners try and merge this 2 megabyte thing, we will attack the network ourselves and make sure that it breaks and fork it. So do you want us to shoot the network in the head? That's what UASF was. That's what SegWit 2x was. And I was on that team and led the charge, supporting the guys that wrote the software. So like to be able to get SegWit in as a soft fork instead of a hard fork was the invention and creation of a guy named Max Hildebrand. So I shout out the real dev that wrote the BIP to be able to do it. You know, I was there for every step of that, telling people how bad SegWit 2x was, how bad the developers were, you know, how bad the forks would be. And I was right. I was right on all of those counts. And the people that didn't believe me watched their fork go from 50% of Bitcoin's value to 3% of Bitcoin's value. They got wrecked. I didn't get wrecked. I did great. Everyone that listened to me did great. So I don't know why you think you're going to get interesting anything in Bitcoin when you had to lie, cheat, and steal to get SegWit, and SegWit did not provide anonymity. SegWit didn't do anything interesting at all except more efficiently use the space so that now you have effectively like 1.4 megabyte blocks instead of 1 megabyte blocks. So you got like a 40% throughput increase. And you got, it's a little bit easier to interact with the blockchain as a programmer because it got rid of transaction malleability. You could Google that if you want. I'm not going to explain it.
I've
done it previously.
Yeah, but that was the point of SegWit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the point of Shore signatures.
So we had
on top of that.
Right. Well, Shore signatures are more efficient. They take up less space to do the same amount of signing. So you get more throughput. So the issue is you had to lie, cheat, and steal to get SegWit. Why do you think you're going to get anything better, like anonymity or anything actually more interesting? I don't think you will. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't think you will. Now, do I care? Not really, because the price is going up anyway. That's all I really care about. So, okay, great. You know, the technology is not improving that much. Guess what? TCP/IP version 4 isn't really improving either, because once it's in enough hardware silicon that you can't patch or update, it's just locked, right? So this has been predicted that we would have stagnation in Bitcoin development because the wider your range of stakeholders, the more impossible it is to get consensus to the point where you cannot get consensus any longer for changes, and then you're locked wherever you left off at that last point where you can no longer get a new consensus. So, yeah, and I'm happy with the price going up as it is. It doesn't actually need to work any better. If it ends up working better, fabulous. I wouldn't bet on it. It's been 2 years. We haven't gotten anything. So. Okay.
And it's absolutely a fair point. I mean, obviously, Bitcoin maximalists will probably say exactly the opposite, but they're
idiots. I'm quoting you facts. These aren't even opinions. You could just look at the list.
Exactly. That's my point. Yeah. That's my point. And as I was saying, I tend to agree with what you're saying because it's kind of true. You know, if we truly look at Bitcoin technology, it's been a little bit stagnating for the past 2 years.
Bro,
even though I think it can improve. Yeah.
Let's look at this. Okay, hey guys, we're going to copy Ethereum, but we're going to do it on Bitcoin. We'll call it RSK. Oh, oops, you know what? We changed our mind. We'll just do our own token. Fuck off. Not going to pump Bitcoin price, right? Oh, okay. Hey, you know what, guys? We're going to do this new Grin implementation, and Grin and Beam come out. And did they help Bitcoin? No, they just did their own coins with their own tickers and their own token symbols and their own insane inflation with their own shitty price that just keeps going down because the inflation's too high. So you saw Grin come out. Did it help Bitcoin? No. Didn't help at all. That's Mimblewimble implementation, right? So did it help Bitcoin? No. None of those things, none of those new technological breakthroughs helped Bitcoin whatsoever because they went to their own altcoins with their own tickers. Well, when is Bitcoin going to get it? Sure. Probably fucking never. Probably never. But that's fine. Like, okay, we're still going to go to new all-time highs. You know, you can't.
But for example, do you think that Bitcoin will have Schnorr signatures eventually at some point?
Maybe they could get that through because it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't really add anything.
So that would be an implementation from, that would be a feature from Monero, for example.
Here's
some privacy coin. That would
I can't remember if Schnorr signatures makes confidential transactions implementable.
No, I don't think so. No, yeah. I think it helps. It helps with the confidentiality because it's just aggregating signature, right? So
I think it makes coin mixing a lot easier. Yeah. So if it actually makes anonymity or privacy easier. Yep. Then it might not get rolled in. because a lot of people do not want privacy. Any large entity that deals with banks doesn't want Bitcoin to be private because they want to keep their bank account. They've only got 5 banks in the whole world that'll work with them. They need those banks to live. That's how they make all their money. Coinbase, other large exchanges in the States, right? If they lose those 5 bank accounts, they go out of business, literally. They have to close their doors. 5 bank accounts, okay? Now, when does a bank want to turn you off? When there's some report that you funded Al-Qaeda or some terrorists or some other terrible crap, and they ask you, well, why'd you do that? And you go, oh, well, I didn't know because we couldn't use our Chainalysis that we licensed to ban people. So if you're in Coinbase and you spend your coins to someplace they don't like after you buy them, they ban you. They track what you do with your money after you buy it. And if they don't like what you did with it, they ban you. People don't know that, right? Why do they do that? Because they want to keep their bank account, okay? They don't want you associated with or near anything that you would actually find utility in Bitcoin with, like anything on the darknet. They don't want that.
Okay.
They don't want to lose their bank account. If you're a speculator buying in, if you're not a speculator and you're actually wanting to use this stuff for anything shady, they want to get rid of you, right? I understand that completely from their perspective because they're being held with a gun to their head from the bank and they don't have options, right? Like what are they going to do if they don't get accepted? Buy their own bank? Well, guess what? Having your own bank is useless if another larger bank won't process your transactions. Like they're all connected, right? You can't just buy a bank and be like, oh, everything's cool now. It doesn't work that way. You got to have correspondent relations with other banks. You got to have accounts at their banks with your bank, or you can't do wire transfers. And then there's like a certain, like, you could get into the nitty gritty of it and to see how much it takes to join NACHA, which allows you to do ACH, which allows you to do, like, I could go into all that, but there's a reason that people only have like 5 choices for banks. And I'm rounding up. Off the top of my head, I can really name 2. I'm just assuming there's another 3 out there, but there might really only be 2. So if you try and roll anonymity into Bitcoin, everyone that actually onboards users using a bank account is going to not support that for the same reason that they already ban you by using AML KYC tools on your account. They don't let you join from certain countries. They don't let you stay if you spent money someplace they don't like. They don't let you exchange if your coins came from someplace they don't like. They eyeball the living crap out of you because they want to keep their bank account. And they, you know, maybe they don't want to go to jail and there's some other legal stuff in there, right? If you try and roll anonymity into Bitcoin, those guys are very extremely likely to be not for it. That's why they pay a fee to an anti-anonymity service to eyeball what you do with your money. They pay them a fee for the same reason they won't support forking in anonymity into the coin, which is important. It's really important. Bitcoin would serve much greater utility, maybe 20, 30% to the world. I mean, off the bat, maybe 5% because that's all the real darknet adoption. But over time, because it had more utility, I believe it would grow to 5 to 20%, with 80% still being speculation, if we had anonymity features or privacy features. Those 2 words actually have different meanings, so I kind of mentioned them both. Privacy is stronger than anonymity.
Yeah, but if we have anonymity, it's already a good thing. Because, and I'm not really sure if we should have privacy in Bitcoin anyways, because with privacy, you cannot really know the total supply. Well, you can know the total supply, but you cannot guarantee that it's not changed. And if it is changed, you cannot...
Invisible inflation. Yeah, it's hard to explain invisible inflation risks to people. But there's Zcash had an invisible inflation bug that they say didn't get used against them, but they don't really know. Because they can't know.
Yeah, they don't know. That's the point. They cannot be sure if it wasn't used against them. That's the point. I don't want that in Bitcoin.
Their argument is that no one else was smart enough to know how to do it. Okay.
Well, it's a bad argument.
How do you know that? I don't think you do actually know that.
Exactly. Okay, so let's all right, next one. Let's go to the next question. All right. Okay, so I mean, we didn't discuss. Well, we kind of touched this point, but just briefly, what's your view on, like, you know, decentralized consensus, like from, you know, Hashcash, BitGold, all like the previous Bitcoin versions, you know, that were aimed and that people tried to build and they couldn't, right?
Well, they were they were too centralized, so they were easy to shut down. So they got shut down. Bitcoin, because of proof of work, lets anyone join, like I said previously, so you can kick one door down, but it doesn't shut the network down.
Do you think proof of work, and I'm going to ask this because when was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw like some news that like kind of blew my mind that Henry Ford back in the 1920s or something was trying to build an energy-based currency. I mean, and with Thomas Edison, and I was like, whoa, this is brilliant. This is kind of like proof of work back in the 1920s. So, do you think proof of work is actually the ultimate thing, or do you think like proof of stake can get more adoption? Although I personally don't think that long term is as secure as proof of work, but
if you
even though it's
if you want to join a proof of work network, you can go build your own ASIC. If you want to join a proof of stake network, you got to buy someone else's coins.
Yeah, exactly.
It's different.
Yep,
it's proof of stake burns a lot less electricity, but it is not as censorship resistant.
Exactly. So then this is my point. And thank you for saying that, because I think that 99% of like people don't understand that difference, right? And thank you, because you put it very, very well. And I think people should be aware of this, especially because go on. Sorry about that.
When I write thought leader in my Twitter profile, it's because I come up with ideas first, give them cool names, and popularize them, and then other people can tag along.
Cool.
So you can't, if you understand something but can't package it in a viral way, then your understanding only lightly benefits the world. But if you can understand something,
you're right,
bring it to people's attention, put it in a bite-sized comment so they can understand it, and then spread it to the world, then you have value. Then you're really improving the world's knowledge base. And I kind of focus on that.
Dude, this is like awesome knowledge. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because this is awesome. At least I am. So yeah, I'm having loads of fun. Next one. So, not next one. I mean, so between proof of work, proof of stake, like your ultimate view. Do you think that people should be focusing on proof of work or learn more about it to really understand it?
Everyone is entitled to and should perform risk-reward trade-offs.
Yeah.
If you are sending a Bitcoin transaction for 1 penny, do you really need everyone in the entire world to keep a copy that transaction occurred?
Well,
not really. Not. That's a lot of waste, right?
Yeah.
If people perform a transaction on the blockchain, right now they're priced and how much space you take up. If I were a miner, would consider switching it to charge people more that were getting more value. So right now, charging people based on price is like marking up how much your cost was. But that doesn't have anything to do with what the market will bear. And if someone wants to send a $100,000 transaction instead of a $1 transaction, and they take up the same space, why don't I require more money from the 100,000 guy? He obviously has the ability to pay more. He obviously is deriving more value, right? So the same type of risk-reward, time-memory trade-off kind of thing, you can Google that, it's a computer science thing. Basically, if you allow something to use more memory, then it can make your processing more efficient, and then it can take less time. You can use different algorithms if you have more memory available to you. So if you, I should say superior algorithms instead of just more. If you understand that you can have higher throughput with lower transaction cost, but less censorship resistance, that is perfectly a wonderful idea if you're not being attacked very often and if no one is attempting to censor you very often. That's a wonderful trade-off. That's what the Lightning Network is. The Lightning Network is, we're going to give you a less efficient security model. You are going to be less secure, but you're going to be able to do a ton more scale at a ton lower fee, and that's a wonderful use case for a lot of people. So should everyone be able to choose how much security they need and how much other suck they're willing to endure to get that security? So I support all of these other forks and other currencies Monero is actually pretty anonymous. Bitcoin is not. Okay, but if you try and trade in Monero, you're going to eat larger slippage on your orders because their order books are thinner. Okay, well, maybe that's a good deal for you, right? If you're, unless you're like Coinbase, that I don't think sells that, but the reasons I've already explained, because they want to keep their bank account, right? So, for instance, in HEX, we go to hex.win if you want to see a coin that I think is better than Bitcoin, because I designed it to be so. We use proof of work through the Ethereum blockchain because it is the most secure blockchain network that's not Bitcoin, and building on top of Bitcoin is impossible. So if I want to develop a new currency issuance model where we pay people for locking up their coins and holding instead of paying miners a block reward, I can't do that on Bitcoin, right? Like I can't write logic that executes in there. People that are not very smart will say, "Oh, you can do it in script." Nah, I can't.
They never tried, so
right?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Right, like actually try and do like
yeah.
People think they know about computing, but they don't. Like fake Satoshi says, "Oh, the Bitcoin network's really a Turing machine. It's a two-tape Turing machine." Yeah, but so is Magic the Gathering exchange card game, and so is Excel spreadsheets. Those are Turing complete languages too. So you can make anything Turing complete. It doesn't mean it's useful, right? Yeah. Useful requires efficiency, and trying to compute using Magic the Gathering cards sucks, right? So it's just sounds smart. People fall for it, but they're not smart enough to understand that it's proof by obscurity, proof by complexity, false proof.
So how do you deal with the Ethereum moving to proof of stake? Do you think that will be a problem towards Ethereum?
I don't actually think it will happen. I don't think I do not think it will happen.
Oh, no. Oh shit, that's a very good one. I never. Okay, nice.
If it does and it works, great. But I don't think it'll happen.
Okay.
And it also sucks from this perspective. Like right now, you can onboard all these new users with GPUs that can mine Ethereum with GPUs, but then if you switch to proof of stake, all those guys get eliminated, and you're not onboarding gamers and video card users and younger people anymore that are mining with their free electricity. You've got rid of that onboarding method, and that kind of hurts the price a bit. So it's not just. I love the fact that they want to do a Prog POW, which kills ASICs on their network. I love that because I'm not a fan of ASICs. I think they're centralized, and I think that they make a lot of money on your coin, and then they try and make a fake coin to kill your coin. That's what Bitcoin Cash did. They took money that people made from buying Bitmain hardware and then attacked the hand that fed them. That's dirty and gross, and I don't like it. And those guys don't talk on Twitter, and those guys don't get on live stream. All you do is own ASICs. You're barely part of this community. I understand how important you are. The network would stop without you, and you could attack it at will and all that. But you guys are not. You're very important, but you're horrible. You're not being part of the consensus. You're not hiring devs to make the code better. Fuck you guys. You make a lot of money, and half of you are straight evil is what it appears to be. So not exactly a fan of miners, which is why in my coin, we don't pay them a mining reward. So we don't need high throughput. If the dire idea of the currency is to appreciate by locking up supply, well, if you take a 5-year stake, you need to transact twice in 5 years. That ain't much, right?
And that's synthetic value, and we'll speak about it. And honestly, I think the way that your coin is going to reward people for holding, that makes sense, and that's actually utility for the Ethereum network. So, and I agree. With your idea and with your projects. I don't think it can be better right now than Bitcoin because it's built over Ethereum. Not that
it's a different trade-off. It has higher
different, right?
It has higher throughput, and it's never had an inflation bug. Bitcoin's had 2 inflation bugs. One that they had to roll back the chain. Another that was caught by Bitcoin Cash developer maybe a year ago, maybe 8 months ago. And everyone that abused those could print as many free coins as they wanted, right? Ethereum's never had that problem. Ethereum also has a better mining network ecosystem because they still have people mining on GPUs, normal humans that you can talk to. Bitcoin doesn't have that. Bitcoin has a more centralized, less censorship-resistant mining network. So Ethereum also has more developers, more research being done, more funding, a nicer community, truthfully. I was a Bitcoin maximalist, and most of the other Bitcoin maximalists are cocksuckers. They're really angry, unhappy, hateful, not friendly. Like for instance, let's take Andreas Antonopoulos. He wrote Mastering Bitcoin. Everyone loved him. He wrote Mastering Ethereum. Everyone hated him.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why people are dumb. Like the guy's, I love the guy, man. Honestly, he's one of the reasons why I went so much into crypto. So people should be very grateful to him, not dicks to him.
People support freedom of choice and capitalism until you support something that they don't own a bag of, and then you're a scamming piece of shit, right? If they don't own a bag of whatever you're talking about, you are a scammer, because that's what they think causes their bag to go up in value. Which is funny because it's actually not. It's actually the opposite. The reason Bitcoin pumped in 2017 was because people were buying all those other bags Using Bitcoin as an on-ramp. Using Ethereum as an on-ramp. If those other stupid things that you don't like didn't exist, your thing wouldn't have pumped fuck all because there's no actual adoption. So you're shit-talking the only use case your token had, which made it pump. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You might want to go easier on those people getting scammed because it's the only reason your coin's going up in value.
Yeah, and like you need to realize that like if you want your gains, you need to convert your token into something, right? So I mean that something is either Bitcoin or Ethereum. So you need to come back to something. At least that's my perspective. Yeah.
Or you can say that about that goes all like all that matters are goods and services. All this other bullshit is accounting. So at some point, if you don't settle to a good or a service, or you just die with the money, you fucked up. Ideally, before you die, everything should turn to goods and services. Or goods and services for people that you enjoy, because if you just leave it in the bank, someone else is going to spend that money. It's just not going to be you.
Yes, exactly.
Like Steve Jobs died very rich. He should have spent it on medical research. He might still be alive. You got to do that 20 years early. You got to do the science 20 years before you need it.
And that one of the episodes that I liked the most when you were talking, it was like one was like 3 years ago, and I think you used that example, and you spoke a lot about like how Steve Jobs, like he knew that he had cancer. He chose not to treat himself properly, and he had like shitloads of money enough to try to do that, and that makes no sense. And I 100% agree with you. And one of your, I think it was somewhere in that video that you kind of changed my mind towards like healthcare and the way that people use the money. And you're right. If you don't use the money to better yourself or your community, you're just doing it wrong. 100%.
It's one of the few things better than crypto. You will need medical research to cure your ass and save you. If you don't need it, your parents need it. If they don't need it yet, your grandparents needed it.
Yeah.
Your pets need it. We all need it. If you care about conscious creatures, your pets, your family, your friends, yourself, someone needs to fix the stuff that actually matters, which is healing the humans. All this other shit, if it doesn't end up healing humans,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it makes little sense. Why? Like we just want to live longer anyway. So you're right. All right,
health span. How long is the years of enjoyable, healthy life that you get? That's what matters.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how much money you have at which point in your life, right? I mean, if you traditionally it's like you just got the last 10 years probably, if you're lucky, right? So yeah, you're right. People don't enjoy themselves after they work their entire lives, and that. Yeah, you're right. It makes little sense.
What's the next one on the question list?
It was like if you think that Ethereum is then going to be a Bitcoin killer app, or
no.
If they're just going to live together.
They're different products. They don't offer the same service. They don't. They're different. So I don't see any reason one would kill the other.
Okay.
It's like, can you use Apple or a PC? Yeah. Did one kill the other?
Both, right?
No.
Yep. Nope.
You can use Android or iPhone? Yeah. Did one kill the other? No.
Nope.
Would you want it to kill the other? No. You need competition for progress. So
exactly.
I would hope that neither of them died.
So, how are you hopeful before we start? We go into HEX deeply technically. One last question, so do you think that projects like Bitcoin Cash, which it's not that I'm not going to say that I like it or I don't like it. I think it's important because they tried something, right? They tried to increase the blocks. I'm not saying they did it the right way, but they did that, right? What I'm saying is that probably with a different attitude, I could have a different opinion of that project. But my point is, do you think those projects are then important to try different things over Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it is to increase competition so that we can prove at least that, that original version is still the better, or the best available?
Yeah, but you can have that experimentation with 100x less market cap. And you can have the progress with 100x less market cap. And so you don't have to wreck everyone on a continuous death trap from launch to a year and a half later down 95%. You don't need to do that for technical progress. So I like technical progress. I don't like to see everyone lose their life savings to fake do it, because I assure you that the amount of money in the market cap is not correlated with the technical progress. It's not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Then you spoke about green, even and that's a project that I love because they, at least in my understanding, they're doing it that way, right? They're just trying something new.
Their inflation rate is fucked. Their coin's fucked because their issuance is fucked.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's their thing, right? They knew about that. People that invested knew about inflation, et cetera, et cetera. So,
people don't want to buy a coin they lose money on. So if you design your coin with a non-controlled supply side, you're going to get fucked. Like,
definitely. Yeah. And we're seeing that in Britain.
In HEX,
that's one thing that
we chose an inflation rate of 3.69% because it was lower than Bitcoin's 4.17 when it hit 20,000. It took Bitcoin 10 years to get there. We're starting off after year one with a lower inflation rate than it took Bitcoin 10 years to get to. And we're only paying it to people that are staked, so they can't even spend it. Whereas in Bitcoin, that stuff gets sent to miners and they sell it for electricity. And they per the price. So we have a positive. The more people that lock, the higher the price goes. The more people want to lock, the higher the price goes. We have a positive reinforcement loop. Bitcoin doesn't have that. In Bitcoin, the more hash rate, the more secure, the more coins get sold on market to pay higher electric bills from higher difficulties.
Definitely.
So I don't even remember the question. What was the question? I don't
know. But we can go into
the inflation rate. Yeah. So if you, I can't program people buying, but I can program the supply side.
Yes.
If you program the supply side better and you have static or increasing demand, then you're wonderful. Because the only thing that causes the price is the ratio of new money in to people getting out. And that's it pretty much, right? So I can't program demand. I can program supply. Locking up is amazing. And it's a multi-trillion-dollar market in the regular world. That's what CDs are. There's 3.2 trillion CDs in the United States alone. 3.2 trillion. It's probably the second most popular banking product next to a savings account. Maybe the third, maybe checking accounts up there too. That's amazing. No one else is doing it. We're doing it. I'm very proud of it.
So, like, for people who don't understand, can you do a Li5 type of explanation about what type of synthetic value you're creating, and just talk a little bit about synthetic value.
If you believe in efficiency and you believe in getting rid of middlemen and you believe in censorship resistance, then you've got to replace every legacy crappy thing with its digital peer-to-peer trustless equivalent. Bitcoin attempts to replace currency. Currency is not finance. Currency is a subset of finance. Finance has a lot of other things that are not currency, like loans and time deposits, right? And those Bitcoin can't do those things. So because
finance is dependent on currency, on money. Sorry, but money
well, it's a subset, right? So
I get it.
If you go to the bank, they sell you a lot of stuff that isn't cash. If they just sold you cash, it would be a money exchange operation. But they store your money for you, and they send your money for you, and they loan you money, and they give you more money if you lock up your money. All of those things are not addressed by Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will never address them because it was not designed to address them. It was designed to do one thing, and it's doing it pretty good. So let's let it do that. The reason that you can't do a time lock thing on Bitcoin is because you can't pay the people for locking. So we do have check time lock verify, check lock time verify, CLTV, in Bitcoin. We have that. The problem is the only thing you get for locking your coin is the inability to use it. You don't get any interest. No one's rewarding you for doing that. So in order to reward people for doing something awesome, like locking up their coins, you have to be able to mint new coins, which means you need your own ticker and you need your own issuance rate. And so we programmed all that. And if you're a developer, please direct message me on Telegram, t.me/Richard Heart, and I can add you to the real repos. We don't actually use GitHub. We use another system.
Nice.
Which kind of sucks because people track how many commits you have and they like your project more the more committing you're doing.
I thought
we don't have our commits visible, so it's not that great. But I'd rather just get to market faster than transition all the devs over to GitHub.
Will the code be open source after the release? I'm assuming we can see the smart contracts anyway.
It's not open source. It is viewable. It is auditable. It is verifiable. You can see everything that it does and verify that so when you compile the code, you can verify that what's on the blockchain is that code. Now, Can you make a copy of it and do what you want with it? No, it's illegal.
No.
Right?
Okay.
So it's not in the people that believe in HEX. It's not in our interest to have a bunch of copycats jacking noobs and stealing on their money for fake projects. It's better to have all of that energy for blockchain CD in the single project. And if you've seen how well copies of other projects have done, they haven't done very well at all. Single digit percents always.
Yeah. So HEX again. There we go. So so you already explained how X works. So what's the short-term versus long-term value of X in your opinion?
Well, during the first year, there's a lot of inflation to pay people rewards for locking.
Yeah.
Which is totally different than normal inflation. When you pay inflation to people that can't sell, they just mint them. So the smart contract mints the currency, and then if you lock your coins, so imagine right now that you want to get a new Bitcoin that has never existed before. Those are only given to miners. You listening are very unlikely to be a miner, which means that every day, every 10 minutes, another 12.5 Bitcoins, which is $125,000, some large portion of that is being sold to buy electricity and mining hardware and hosting. And it's not going to you, the holder. It's a negative externality that hurts the price. Imagine, the easiest way to understand it is that when you stake your HEX, it's kind of like getting free mining hardware and free electricity, because you're getting a percentage reward just like Bitcoin miners are, but you're not having to pay any externalities to get that reward. You're having a direct relationship with the smart contract that is immutable, very extremely unlikely to have an inflation bug. In Bitcoin, when you change the networking code or change the wallet code, sometimes you make an error and you get an invisible inflation bug. It's happened twice now. In our system, it's very nearly impossible to get that because our consensus code is locked. You can't change it. It's isolated. It's in its own smart contract. So you can improve the wallet. You can switch from proof of work to proof of stake. You can improve a million things. It's not going to affect our consensus code, right? It'll be very hard for that to happen.
Okay. What happens if Ethereum has a bug then? The Ethereum network has a bug. Let's assume that they can, inflation just goes up the roof with Ethereum. Let's say.
So let's say Ethereum just totally sucked balls for some reason.
Yeah.
They run Solidity. A lot of other places run Solidity too. So EOS used to be an ERC20 token, flipped to their own network. BNB used to be an ERC20 token, flipped to their own network. TRX used to be an ERC20 token, flipped to their own network. That's $3 billion plus projects that used to be ERC20s that flip to their own network. So if you ever don't like how Ethereum's working, you can just airdrop all your old users on Ethereum to the new network. You can do that. And it's happened with multi-billion dollar projects 3 or 4 times already. So you can flip to your own implementation of whatever smart contract model you want to use that uses Solidity, which is what we wrote our smart contract in. So you're not stuck. You have options if ever Ethereum turns to shit, which I don't think it will.
But but would that would be a decision from your team basically, right? So you would say, okay,
no, it would not. It would not. It would have to be market consensus, because
can people vote somehow?
No.
Or just
you don't want most people to vote. Most people are retarded.
No. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just it was just like,
no one can edit the contract. Nobody.
Okay.
There's no special functions. There's no special numbers. There's no special access. All of the functions that can be run are public functions, pretty much. I guess maybe non-public ones would be if you send Ethereum to the contract to have it transformed into HEX during the 50-week launch phase. Every day it takes a copy of unclaimed coins and allows people to transform their Ethereum into those coins. And that happens every day. So if you send some Ethereum to the contract, it will send you HEX. No counterparty risk, no middlemen, you and the contract, right? There's the code. You pay the Ethereum network to run the code. You get the result. It's just you and the code. Nobody else in there, right? So the only functions that the public can't run is a function that would be like private to you. So like starting and ending a stake, you have to do that. Claiming, you have to do with your Bitcoin private signature. But once you've signed it, someone else could forward your transaction to the network and pay the fee for you because the signature includes the fact that you're being paid that. So it doesn't matter who submits it because it's still going to pay you specifically, right?
Yep, your address, exactly.
Good accounting function that makes it so that people don't get late end stake penalties. So when you say you're going to stake for 2 years, you need to end your stake at in between 2 years and 2 years and 2 weeks, or else you start incurring a penalty. Anyone can run that for you. So if you're in jail, anyone can run it for you. If someone wants to be nice and run it for the whole network every 2 weeks, no one will ever pay any penalties because the accounting has been kept proper. It's a game theory to make sure that the state of the network is kept accurate by people that started stakes ending their stakes. If they don't end their stakes, if they don't end their stakes, their shares stay in the pool, and then they start they keep reducing everyone else's payouts, but never actually receiving a payout themselves, effectively reducing the inflation of the currency. So it's good game theory to make people keep the accounting good. Because there's nothing automatic in blockchain. You have to. There's nothing automatic in Ethereum. You have to pay a fee to do any computation. Someone has to pay that fee. So the network has to have a fee paid to update the state of the system to show that your stakes expired. So you should pay that fee. The guy that started the stake should pay it. If you don't pay it, well, you're going to penalize your ass until you do. And I think it's 1% a week. So if you wait 100 weeks, you lost all your money. So I hope that you or someone that you know ran that good accounting function, and half of that penalty gets paid to the stakers. So there's some weird game theory in there in that people could pay the fee for you and run good accounting, and then the stakers would get paid a little bit more because they weren't being diluted by your expired shares. Or they could just wait till your stake keeps getting nuked a percent every week, and they're going to get 0.5% of that.
Exactly.
I don't know which way it's going to go, but it's interesting.
No, it is because I was thinking about that. Like if I'm a staker, I don't know which route I would take. I mean, I would like the community to
I have no intentions of running that function for anyone else. If someone nukes their account and pays the staker pool,
it's kind of like a brain tease.
Thanks.
So because I don't know if the incentive would be better, for me to actually do the proper accounting, or just wait till it blows up and collect the fees.
My gut feeling is it's going to be cash positive for stakers to not run that. But it only takes one person that's willing to pay a small fee to do it for everyone to make it so that it never happens. So what you're betting on is basically what are the odds that one person doesn't spend the $20 to do this for the whole network every 2 weeks? That's a pretty low barrier to entry. So it could be the case that no one ever gets this penalty, or it could be the case that it's common. It's really up to the likelihood that someone runs that function for everybody out of the kindness of their hearts, pretty much. But that's fine. Hey, if it keeps the network state accurate, awesome. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, cool. No, but that's an interesting model. You're kind of leaving it up to chance at the end, and I kind of like that. You're trusting your community.
Well, I don't have a choice. I mean, someone's got to pay for it. So why not the guy that caused it to need to be paid for?
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
all right. So, yeah, go for it.
Well, I don't remember what the question was. So if you got new questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll just ramble.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It was about the Li5 style explanation, but then I asked about the synthetic value, how it would create synthetic value. So
we're doing something that's never been done before. Yes, no one has addressed a larger market. So we do currency as well as Bitcoin does. Maybe better, depending on what your metrics are. Bitcoin has larger liquidity, right? HEX plugs into distributed exchanges easier because it's an ERC20. Bitcoin's core wallet doesn't support hardware wallets. Our core wallet does because we use MetaMask, and MetaMask supports Ledger and Trezor off the bat. We support hardware wallets off the bat, which is nice. Now, I mean, Ledger and Trezor have their own EXEs that they use that do support Bitcoin, so maybe that one's a tie. Or maybe it's even better for Bitcoin because they have more users on that user base. But it's not better for distributed exchanges at all. So, for instance, in an ERC20 ecosystem, you can do an atomic cross swap between other ERC20s with no counterparty risk. You can't do that on Bitcoin with anything. You have to have a middleman that introduces counterparty risk to you. Well, that sucks.
Wait. There's a...
someone did one way from an ERC20 to Bitcoin, but they couldn't go back. And someone did one on Litecoin to Bitcoin maybe once. It's very extremely rare. There's There's no easy atomic cross swaps on Bitcoin to anything else. There's just not.
That's true. You always have to lock up your funds, I guess. So you're right. Yeah, you're right. I guess what I understand what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the issue is that some node has to connect to both networks. Period.
Exactly.
The ERC20s are all on the same network, so it's easy. But once you go cross networks, you have to physically bridge the two networks in a computer that you own, and that creates hardship.
But that's my point. Like, imagine, wouldn't it work the same way if I just lock my Bitcoin and then I release Ethereum in Ethereum, and I don't need that, right? And it's still a swap.
It doesn't.
I guess, right?
The closest thing that exists to that is wrap Bitcoin, and it's totally centralized with a central counterparty that handles the exchanging. If there was a better way to do it, by the way, there's more volume on wrap Bitcoin than there is on the Lightning Network. So Ethereum does level 2 for Bitcoin better than Bitcoin does level 2 for Bitcoin. It's a little funny, right? It's a little funny.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, it's a little bit misleading that I called Lightning like a Bitcoin product. It's really not. It will work for all kinds of coins, but right now it's primarily the forefront of development is in Bitcoin.
But if it's not like a centrally counterparty, like, I would imagine that like a wrapped Bitcoin, Ethereum stuff, that would work, right?
The problem is crypto was invented to get rid of trusted counterparties that steal your damn money and get hacked. And so if you buy wrap Bitcoin or Tether or any other bullshit fake crypto, you're getting the opposite of what crypto was designed for. You're getting stop doing that. Like that's not what crypto was designed for. So
one last question about HEX. Is there for you a perfect time to convert back after like the 2 years or the 3 years?
The majority of the mad gains. So the mad gain. So that my models predict that there's probably 100 times more reward for being staked during the We Are All Satoshi unclaimed coin payout at the end of the claim phase. Okay. That's probably 95% of the mad gains.
Okay.
However, you want to get in as early as you can to get those other 5% of mad gains, because those mad gains give you a larger stack of the 95%.
Okay.
So what we have is a share price, and the share price keeps increasing and it only goes up. Whenever you end your stake, the system looks, I invented this, I'm pretty proud of it. I'm sure one day some mathematician will go, you could have done that a more efficient way doing this. I hope to find that one day, because this took a lot of thought, and I invented it, so I'm proud of it. Okay. The share system looks at the return on investment that any person that ends a stake got. And if it's the highest that's ever been seen, it sets that as the new price. So that if you end your stake, you can never end up with more shares than you had when you ended, unless you earn them by staking a larger amount or a longer time.
Okay.
So what you end up with is, if day one somebody stakes, 1 million HEX, let's call it 10,000 HEX.
Yeah.
And then day two, they end their stake. It would really be technically day 3, because you have to be staked for a full day to get credit, but let's just call it day 2 for fun. Day 2, you end your stake, and you made like 50% ROI in a day. It's possible. It's very possible. It depends on how many people stake. If very few people stake, you will make thousands of percent return.
Yeah.
So you're taking 3.69% inflation of a giant stack of coins and shoving all of that energy into the sliver of stakers. If the staker pool's large, the ROI drops. If the staker pool's small, the ROI is insane, right? Yep. So if you got a 50% ROI on that day one, that means shares just went up in value 50%. And so when you want to go get shares like that guy has, and all the rewards are based on shares, then you got to pay 50% more. So HEX is amazing in that we have so many more graphs that are important. So Bitcoin has what? Price and hash rate. Anything else? Not really. You could look at network transaction value. It doesn't seem to really matter. We pumped 5x on on a decrease in network transaction on chain. So it doesn't seem to matter. In our system, we have a chart of people's stakes and when they're coming off stake, available supply, future forward. Bitcoin doesn't have that. You don't know when people are going to dump. You have no idea. In our system, when people can dump or when they can't, because you can see when they're coming out of stake, right? In In HEX, you have a share price. You know what the shares value is, and it only goes up. There's no equivalent to that in Bitcoin, right? So what matters in HEX? The price of the token, the share price of the token, the number of people that are staking, the stakes that are coming off stake, right? Those are all hugely important. It's so much more interesting and more useful game theory that no other currency has. It's just so good. It's so good. Understanding what the future supply of a thing really looks like is something no other coin has, because no other coin does time locks the way we do. You know, if you have a masternode coin, you can unlock whenever you want. Well, that's not really a lock, is it? If you can unlock whenever you want, you're not locked, right? That's fake bullshit.
I get it.
So we're the only coin that I know of that has that pumpamental. If you want to click my affiliate link for my project that I invented, it's pumpamentals.com.
Pumpamentals, I love that.
Yeah, man. Like I shill and I care about this project.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, nice one.
What other
Good
cool
marketing.
stuff do we have? The affiliate program's awesome. So like we used to have it so the affiliates just got paid on people that claimed. What's the problem with that? You can only claim if you have Bitcoin at the snapshot. How many people have Bitcoin at snapshot? Fuck all, not many, right?
Yeah.
When are we going to reach our largest visibility to the outside world? Exponentially as the program progresses, not on day one.
And there's
So when we'll have the most reach, everyone has maximally missed the ability to go back in history and buy the snapshot. So how do we fix that? We allow you to transform. We allow you to transform ETH into HEX, and then you can onboard everyone that didn't have Bitcoin at the snapshot, and you can pay the referrals 20% to do it. So now the referrers all have a ton more money they can make in the year of launch phase, referring people to the adoption amplifier, which transforms ETH into HEX. And previously, they could only do it for people that could claim, which is a very small portion of the world. The number of people that can buy ETH and get in is gigantic. The number of people that had Bitcoin at the snapshot, 100 times less, 10 times less, right? So it's so much better. So we probably ate a few months to implement that awesome feature. And it's so good. So imagine two worlds. One world where HEX, you can only buy it from an exchange. You have to set up an account. You have to hope they list it. You have to hope the order book has liquidity. You have to hope they don't steal your money. That's a lot of hope, right?
Yeah.
How about we just skip all that and we let you onboard directly with the contract with no counterparty risk and skip all that other bullshit? You're going to onboard a ton more people. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's about onboarding new users. How many more users can you onboard and get money into the system in comparison to your inflation rate? That's what the whole game is about. Okay. So we restrict the supply side by paying people up to 3 times as many shares if they stake longer. So at 10 years, you would get 3 times as many shares. The share price only goes up. You'll never get more shares than what you ended at unless you stake for longer or stake for larger. The larger maxes out at 10% at 150 million HEX, which my estimate on supply is maybe 700 billion HEX, which means there can be, I think, 6,000 or 24,000, somewhere in the single to double digit thousands range of fully maxed out shares. Just divide 700 billion by 150 million. That gives you the maximum number of bigger pays better maxed out shares. Maybe someone will invent a smart contract that combines other people into a common stake so that they can pay out those extra rewards to everybody, kind of like a mining pool. I haven't really screwed with that yet. It's an interesting kind of profit model. If other people want to add stuff on, like an exchange wants to let you buy HEX there and stake it there, and then they could create like a virtual liquidity pool for staked HEX is another kind of secondary market that could evolve. I prefer that everyone make their gains in the primary market because I don't really like middlemen. I don't think they bring that much, but they do bring something, right? So if an exchange can make money, so for instance, if you want to claim this and you have over 1,000 coins in a single wallet, you're going to get penalized 50% of your stack, whale penalty.
Okay.
If you have over 10,000 coins, you're going to get 75% hit, which means if Bittrex or Binance want to use their cold wallets to claim HEX on behalf of their users, they can at a 75% cut.
Ooh.
But
nice.
Hey guys, you want to list this because you're dying for things that aren't securities that you can do volume on? Well, you want people to log back in? I think Polo is down like 90% on its trade volume. delisted a ton of coins. Hey, you guys want some trade volume? This isn't a security. Hop on in, add it, give it for free to everyone that's here. Yeah, you'll be penalized 75%, but hey, you could have split your wallet into under thousands back when the snapshot was, but you didn't do that. So now you're gonna get the silly whale penalty, which is why it's called the silly whale penalty, because you can avoid it if you want. You can split your wallets up into groups of 1,000 or smaller. I think you should be at like 999.999. If that makes them want to list it and gives them a reason for users to log back in and get their free money, I think that's win-win for everybody involved. They're taking a 75% hit, but it's free ass money. So you want free money?
Yeah.
You want something that's the first thing of its kind? You want to be the first in the door? Come on in, right? So we worked hard to support those guys being able to claim with their wallets. So when I can call them and be like, hey guys, you want to make some more money this year? List HEX, I have to be careful what I promise anyone, because I want there to be no expectation of future work. So there's this thing called the Howey test.
Okay.
The Howey test is a test that the United States government uses to decide if you're a security or not. And the SEC is out there trying to protect old people from getting ripped off, trying to protect normal people from getting ripped off, because so many people use this, buy into this thing and get more money, and then they rip everybody off. So I believe in the SEC. I think they do a good job. I like their Howey ICO website, or Howey token website. I can't remember what the name of it is. You could Google it. It's their own in-house outreach project.
Yeah, it's like a fake token. Yeah.
Right, to try and teach people how to not get scammed.
Yeah.
I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very important that this is not a security. And how we do that is something is a security if people pay money to a pool, a central pool, with the expectation of profit from the work of others. And you have to tick all those boxes, right? So our strongest box is the work of others. Once this contract is on the blockchain, you can't change it. So
and you don't
how are you going to do work for it?
To work.
Right?
Okay, yeah, I get it. Okay.
There's an origin address that gets paid a copy of bonuses, doesn't get paid a copy of your interest, doesn't get paid a copy of your base claim. If you got referred, it gets a copy of that. If you were referred, you get a 10% bonus. If you referred somebody else, you get a 20% bonus. If you got in early, you get a 20% bonus on the first day. It gets a copy of those bonuses. That address never, ever promises or leads you to believe that it'll ever do anything good for you.
Okay.
Now, you could try and guess what that person that had a big bag of HEX would be trying to do for HEX in his own best interests. Those are just guesses. There's to be no expectation of work for you, right? So I can say things like, yo, when we're in audit, I'm going to call up exchanges and see if we can get some good traction on getting listed. But once the thing's actually out, you ain't never going to hear anything like that again, right? Because if you have promises or expectations of stuff, well, now, hey, I bought this thing and now I expect some things and now it's a security. No, we don't do any of that, right? So people always ask, so like, hey, where's the Ethereum go? Not to you. You ain't going to get any benefit from it. Don't even think about it. Don't even worry your head about it. No, it will not benefit you in any way, right?
Okay.
Because you don't have a choice. That's what you got to say. Or you can become a security, sell people the moon and file an S1 or Reg A Plus or all the other ways that you can be a security. This is not a security. There is no promise. You should have no expectation of future work. It's designed to pump. It's programmed to pump. It's just code that lives on a blockchain that you can run or you can not run. It's up to you.
Yep. So those were my questions, man. I don't have any other question about the project. I think you were super clear about the gains, about the problems that may arise, and especially the long-term future of HEX. So people should just the ones that wish to participate, they can.
You can get in for free if you want to get in for free. If you wanted the most amount of HEX, right? Yep. What is the US dollar price going to be? I have no idea. I think it's going to be quite high, but I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you what you're likely to receive as gains in HEX. I have no idea what they'll be worth, right? So if you want to get maximum HEX and you already hold Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin in a wallet you control the private keys to at the snapshot date. Maybe it's in 50 days, maybe it's in 60 days.
Okay.
Keep an eye.
You will in a week before.
Bro, when we go to audit, you're going to see me promoting the hell out of everything. We're so close to
I
audit.
think people
I mean, I could go to
really
audit
will
now,
do that.
basically, but
Yeah.
I just want the front end dudes to like make sure that the events that we have are excellent enough to build the UI the way we want. So I'm just waiting for clarity on our like event list lock, and then once our event list is locked, like I'm ready to go to audit.
I think
As soon as we're in audit,
probably when. Okay.
ahead.
Can I ask you? Can you ask you something like? No, it's not personal, but you might choose not to answer. It's fine. But I mean, wouldn't it make sense just to wait until like not the peak, but a peak in a bull run, so that
No.
loads of people bought Bitcoin? Or you're not looking for that? You don't
No.
care about that?
Ethereum launched in the bear market of 2015 and outperformed Bitcoin by 3x or 5x on ROI percent from its launch day by launching in a bear. I like launching as early as possible. Any type of market timing that you would try and do would be canceled out by slowing down your exponential growth. So when you look at exponential growth and you look at it at the beginning, it doesn't matter whether you launched a day before or a day after. But when you look at it at the end, when you're in the hockey stick, the difference between that extra early day is a huge ass line when you're in that part of the hockey stick. So I know that getting to market faster is important, and I'm willing to make some very small shortcuts to do that. I'll give you an example of one. There's this case where the inflation of the currency will actually be lower than 3.69% because when people get penalties that cut into their principal, those coins that are being redistributed to the origin address and the staker pool as penalties, interest isn't being paid on those for a certain period of time. It should affect the inflation rate by 0.01% or something. So when I say you get paid like about 20% longer every extra year you stake, it's because it's about 20%. There's rounding in there and such, right? Sometimes there's a leap year, and leap years have a missing day or an extra day. I can't remember. So when I say that the interest is 3.69%, it's about 3.69%. Now I could go and beat up the contract and fight to make it 0.01% more accurate, but it would never be as good as launching a day earlier. Launching a day earlier will always beat that fix. So I'm suggesting to not fix it, right? So I'm making, where it is intelligent to do so, I'm trying to get to market quicker. So like if we have more logic in the UI and less logic in the contract, then we can start our audit quicker, then we can get to market quicker. They're just design decisions that are intelligent, basically.
Yeah, makes sense. I understand. I'm building the project myself, so I understand what you mean. And as I said, I did it the other way around. Build it like super fancy. Went to companies. They kind of like they showed me where I went wrong, and I was like, all right, I should have done a proper MVP. Don't build it like so strongly.
Yeah, if you don't MVP, you're fucked. Scope creep will kill you. You'll never get to market. You'll run out of money. Like mission creep and scope creep's a nightmare. So let me show all the links and stuff you guys should go to, because I'm about to head into my next live stream. I have a free book. It has every smart thought I've ever had, pretty much. It's free. It's an outline form. Read it. It could change your life. For the people that have been able to take some of the advice in there, their lives have really become amazing. I wish I could take all the advice in my own book. I'd have a six-pack, right? So go to t.me/scivive. If you want price calls, I make good price calls. Go look at the history. t.me/Richard's calls. It's free. I'm thinking of making it not free, but I'm just more focused on HEX that I don't even have time to make it not free currently. If you want to talk to other traders, t.me/Strape Charts. Strape like strawberry grape. If you want general crypto chat, about 5,000 people in there, 5,250 I think. T.me/Strape. Go to my Twitter, 52,000 followers. Richard Heart Win on Twitter. YouTube, Richard Heart, 40 something, 42,000 I think. If you want to donate to charity, they accept crypto, sens.org. They might save your life. Give them money. Vitalik gave them a few million. I volunteered for them in person in the past. They're a great organization. If you cure cancer, which kills 40% of people, you only live 3 years longer on average. If you cure heart disease, which kills 40% of people, you only live 3 years longer on average. If you cure both, which kills 80% of people, you only live 7 years longer on average. The math is funky, why 3 and 3 adds up to 7, but it does. If you want more than 3 years, you got to heal the system that's decaying, which causes the cancer and causes the heart attack. Okay, those are side effects of a decaying system. We need regenerative medicine.
Yep.
Curing cancer is only worth 3 years. We're throwing a lot of money at it. Let's throw more money at regenerative medicine. It could give us 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 40 years, right? And we have things that are really working in trials like senolytics. So that could be worth a few years. Maybe metformin's worth a year or two. I don't take it yet.
Sounds like a good way to waste your money, I guess, you know.
Yeah, or do startups in the space and still get rich. Buy the biotech index or do startups in the space. You'll still get rich, but you might save your own fucking life, right? Cool. After HEX, I'm doing SciVive full time, and I'm doing the Save Your Assets Fund, which is like a biotech index for stuff that might save you. So if it's not going to save you, if you're not likely to get sickle cell anemia, we're just not throwing money into it, right? So, yeah, what else? If you want to trade, go to richardheart.win. It's a new link. I'm getting everyone off MEX that I can. I'm putting them onto this new system. It's better. What else? Charity, free books, free channels, free content, free everything, free tokens, hex.win. I give you guys a lot of free stuff, so I hope you like me because I'm not getting your money.
I think people
you don't see any donation addresses on my channels, do you? You can't possibly give me money. Maybe you'll be able to buy these soon. Maybe a week. I'm still waiting the shirts.
All right, man. So I don't want to take any more of your time, and thank you for the interview. I'll write an article about it, and I'll post it on CoinRevet for anybody who prefers to read, and I'll send it to you, obviously. A quick one, follow bityon.com. It's my own personal project. It's a recruitment and talent management
You should
platform.
spell that, man, because how do you spell
B-Y-T, B-Y-T-O-N-Y-D, so bityon.com. We're releasing a demo, so it's demo.bityon.com. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. We're incorporating smart contracts for voting and as an incentive, but people can look at it later and then see how they feel about it, I guess. Thank you for the interview, man. It was an amazing time. Last time I saw you, we were in Switzerland. We got drunk together. It was awesome time. So
you got a video of me dancing on the table, which I was pretty happy about because I never seen one before. I didn't know anybody was videoing. That's pretty cool.
Dude, you're an awesome dancer. Yeah, so now you know.
Thank you. All right, man. It was good talking to you, bro. Ciao.
Yeah, you too. Ciao, ciao. Take care. Bye.